Capricorn season wrap up video. This is going to be the space where we talk a little bit about what I've already talked about in the Capricorn season card reading video. If you haven't watched it, this is probably a good instant replay for you. But it's also the place where we talk about like, where have we not fully gauged what we're supposed to learn in this season and like in this time where all these planets are shifting, and make sure that we are prepared with all of those lessons to carry them into Aquarius season, the next astrological season ahead of us, and really be, like I said, prepared to take on the next thing. I am a full believer that every astrological season gives us something that we need so that we can like stack up on the next thing. And you know, it's not a lot, but like if we do many of those and we just keep stacking, then like the growth happens and the building upon the lessons happens. And I'm also a big believer in every lesson comes back around again. So if you feel like you've missed out, or if you feel like maybe I haven't quite like squeezed all the juice out of like the past few astrological seasons, that's okay. You are in the part of the journey that you are meant to be in. My name is KellyAnne, and welcome to V for Vibrant. This is going to be a quick one. Usually my astrological season card reading videos are about an hour long, just to, like I said, give you lots of juice, for you to squeeze whatever, you know, feels like the best thing for you and what feels like it's a message directly for you, and the rest you can just leave. This is going to be a little bit of a quickie, and we are going to just wrap the season up and look ahead to the next season a little bit. It's going to be a little sneak peek at why don't I open this one, but I see, no, I don't want to, because then I'm touching my eyes, and that's not I don't want to do that, you know. It probably hurts to even watch. I'm sorry about that. A little sneak peek at what is coming up. So I have already pulled cards from the Voyager Tarot. Let me get this for you. Voyager Tarot, as well as the Threads of Fate Oracle deck. Now I've got the cards sitting in there, but you can see what the backs look like. And I'm just gonna start getting into it. The first couple things that came up were the Six of Worlds, the Synergy card, the Seven of Wands, the Courage card, and the Child of Crystals, the Learner. I feel like these are, I feel like these are reinforcing some of the things that I was saying in the Capricorn season reading, where I was talking both about substance abuse and knowing that like we are using certain things and falling into certain habits that we know that we're not supposed to be in, and that we've gotten out of before and maybe are trying to get out of again, not necessarily because there needs to be like a judgment or like a shame or like a guilt pattern, but more so because we just know that that's not who we really are, and that's not the best version of ourselves and the best expression of ourselves. There's a lot going on. There is a lot going on outside here. We've also got this sort of replication of the message around relationships and really letting yourself grieve things that are meant to go and be gone. The lesson that I got, the way that that expressed itself, let's see, Child of Crystals, the way that it expressed that itself for me is I learned that I was making up a story about a childhood friend of mine that I just kept thinking like they just don't want to be my friend, they just don't really like me, and that's why they haven't responded to this text or whatever. And just saying that out loud to the universe enough times, I was like, I just want to know what's going on. I just want to find out. Pulled me into a play date with that person and our other shared mutual childhood friend. And what I found out is, oh my gosh, I was making up a story about how this person doesn't want to be friends with me and kind of like grieving the loss of like their good opinion of me. And then I was there in person and like talking with them again and realizing like, I don't know that I need their good opinion. And also like, I don't know that I want their friendship. We're just such different people now. They are not the kind of person that I would count in my like small circle of like people that I really trust and respect, who respect me, where there is a reciprocity that I am like naturally just like oozing for and like craving all of the time. That's the kind of relationship that you want to have, is one that just feels super synergistic. And Worlds is about everything outside of us that still affects us. So it has to do with relationships. It has to do with careers. It has to do with, you know, in this case, situations that maybe we're making up stories about like how good they were to us. And we need to go back and be like, hey, let me examine that again. Let me go back to that, my former workplace. Or let me run into a coworker who's still there, who's going to remind me about how much I don't want this thing that I keep fantasizing about and keep not grieving, putting off grieving. That was a big theme in the Capricorn season video, was putting off grieving, or putting off feeling the way that you really want to feel about things because you feel like, I don't have enough time, I can't make space for this. You gotta make space for it, because in the spiritual realm, which is what wands are about, there is this empowerment and this uplifting protection of energy that happens when you acknowledge what's really real and what's right in front of you, and then have the courage to grieve fully or celebrate fully. There are like two ends of this spectrum that, you know, as like the sea goat, which is what Capricorn represents. The symbol of Capricorn is the sea goat. As the sea goat, we have this like desire to be grounded and also desire to like get out of the where we are as fast as we can. And in order for us to find that like happy medium, we have to let ourselves be where we are, and then we have to move on once we've given ourselves permission to do that. But you got to give yourself permission to grieve. You got to give yourself permission to unveil another layer of story that you've been telling yourself about the things that are in your life, so that you can peel them back and go, oh, wait, actually, it's not this, it's that. It's not that this, I had another one of these, and tell me in the comments if it's like been all about relationships for you in the past 2 weeks, and seeing them flipped on their head. Because not only was this relationship flipped on its head for me, and I got to properly grieve what was really worth grieving there, but also I had this other friendship that I used to have that I realized, oh my gosh, I've grieved so many parts of this. I've grieved the loss of friendship. I've grieved the sisterhood wounds. But there's another part that I wasn't fully able to process yet until just the past like week and a half. And it was that I still was holding this tenuous connection of like, this person is still some kind of idol to me. This person is still somebody to look up to, and is a role model for the kind of success that I think that I want. And like I said, you know, running into an old coworker, or running into somebody who used to be a client of that person, and will give you like, no, you're remembering this wrong. They're actually kind of shit. They're actually not who you think they are, can be such an empowering thing, and can help us to realize that we need to protect ourselves from idolizing relationships or holding on to relationships that, for whatever reason, are not serving us anymore and don't feel aligned for us anymore. And then also we get to finally, in acknowledging that, grieve the parts that aren't working and haven't worked for a while, and let them go, so that the universe can not only help us, you know, like I said, ground in that feeling of like, oh, this never was right for me, but also swim into, you know, the next ocean, the next sea, the next portal of where your true role models and the true people that you can look up to and the true sisterhood and best friends are going to be for you. I think we don't give Capricorn enough, what is it called? Enough, I'll come back to it. We don't give them enough credit. There we go. We don't give Capricorn enough credit for being as flexible as it is. I feel like Capricorn is often like made out to be sort of like the really like stoic like supervillain type, next to Geminis, who are just like very cerebral people and very like in their heads and constantly trying to get to the bottom of things. And what Capricorn also can do is get to the bottom of things and then swim back up and not necessarily need to stay in the place where they're in the valley or they're in their depths. They are reaching higher ground and gaining perspective. So I hope that in this wrap-up video, you're kind of piecing together that there may be some relationships that you need different perspective on, or that you need to ask the universe, or as I've been calling Sal, source of abundant love, asking Sal, can you please just show me like where I'm wrong, where I went wrong in this, and help me get out of the depths of like this story that I've created for myself. Another part of the Capricorn season energy that we've been experiencing has been about, oh yeah, New Year's resolutions. Okay, yes, New Year's resolutions, and there not being such a need for one or those because we're in the winter. And I love that we've got the Nine of Crystals, the Inventor here, Man of Crystals, and the Nine of Worlds, the Harvest card here, to come together and present like this unified front of like, your world is not going to manifest a whole lot if all you're doing is sitting there forcing yourself into a hard place, forcing yourself to do something that it doesn't want to do in this season. What it really wants to do in this season is kind of like the light aspect of the Man of Crystals, which is not to just like think about things super hard and try and come up with solutions at the wrong time, but to imagine and create and do the Albert Einstein thing, which is acknowledge that imagination is more important than knowledge. And you don't have to know what your resolutions are going to be yet, or your goals for the year yet. You don't have to know how you're going to get there. You don't have to know every single like detail in the strategy for what you're moving toward. You just have to start imagining what the world might look like if. And open yourself to all of these possibilities. Now, opening yourself to these possibilities is one of those things that I have been practicing a whole lot, and especially after this sort of like identity change situation in my life where I thought I will never experience this one thing, and then I did, and it happened to me. And I felt like I just felt like I am not the person that I thought I was anymore. And like, wow, this is really difficult to experience and kind of heartbreaking, which I feel like happens a lot when we like look back on our New Year's resolutions, or we would look back on ways that we thought that we would be forever, and like all of the ways that the universe has like kind of split the path of like who we thought we were gonna be into who we actually had to become. And there's sort of like an identity loss in that shift. And what I have created is a meditation called The Wandering, which is a meditation and journaling experience that is available on my website. If you go to vforvibrant.com and you scroll down to ways to hold space at your own pace, you are going to find this incredible meditation that I'm getting a ton of great feedback from. I'll leave some of the reviews in the description for this video so you can get a taste for it. But one of the things that I employ in that journaling and meditation experience is not only finding a way to come home to yourself so that like your little imagination portal in here feels safe enough to stay in and not necessarily as like craggy and rocky as like you have to find the right solution, but more of like a soft, like gentle space. There is also, in addition to creating and cultivating that safe space within yourself, there is also in the journaling portion a prompt that I use that people can use in their daily lives and that I use and that so many clients have told me that they use now, is using this method of like asking yourself questions and then answering those questions so that you can keep the imagination space deployed is out. Employed. You can keep the imagination portal cooking and stewing and brewing, and it really ignites this very compassionate version of problem solving that I think a lot of people have a hard time getting to. So if you have a hard time getting to that, the link is going to be in the description below, as well as a couple of things to tell you what this is about. But I really believe that this wrap up is helping us to reaffirm that we're still not supposed to be doing it yet. We're still, like, maybe if you've seen the cap season video, the astrology reading, you've been like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do it yet. And maybe like the sort of the culture and the energy of like everybody's got resolutions and like it's a new year and has like swept you up again. This video is to remind you, like, don't be doing that. There are better ways and there are other ways to be doing this, and some of it happens to be wandering. Some of it happens to be a wandering experience and a wandering process. So you're not just like landing on things that you think you want, you're finding your way toward things that you actually desire. This is like the whole, I mean, this is like a perfect message for me to be delivering, because I am all about creating the life that you truly desire. And how are you supposed to know what you truly desire if you don't give yourself the time and the space to be wrong and to wander through all of the possibilities until you find something that goes, wait, I didn't know you were, have you been there the whole time? Okay, let's try this out. That's what I want for everybody. I want that for you, and I want that for every single person on this earth, to actually give themselves the time and the space to experience what it's like to not need the answer right away. And the wandering can help you with that, but I think even just like taking a moment to say, I don't need to set goals immediately, it's still winter. I'm going to give myself until spring has sprung or until, spring is springing, to actually set these goals and create systems that in the winter I realized are the ways that I want to systematize things, the way that I want to organize my life, so that it's not just about structure and this sort of like hyper masculine way of doing things, of like making lists and checking them off. It's about how you feel and where your dreams lead you and the kinds of feelings that you want to feel when you are doing the things that you say are goals for you. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense in the comments. Let me know if I'm targeting something that you are going through right now. And let me know in the comments if you're just feeling like, yeah, this whole like resolution thing was weighing me down, and now I know like that's not what I need. What I really need is to figure out what's right for me and not what's right here, right now, the most pressing thing. Because that can ultimately lead to us making some very, very wrong decisions. I'll just use wrong as like a blanket word, but like some very impromptu decisions based on like a narrow scope of what our choices really are. So the more that we wander, the more we let our, I'm staying on this because I know that you're not hearing me yet, okay? The more that you let your mind wander and you get curious and you stay curious and you keep asking those questions of what do I really want based on what feels the best for me, the better chances you'll have of getting that higher perspective. And like I said, like the mountain goat, you know, like reaching a new peak, or like the sea goat, coming up from those like deep, vast depths and finding a surface point where it's like, oh, okay, I see it clearly now. Like I've come up from like the murkiness, and the clarity has struck me so that I can have the confidence to move forward and not necessarily need all of the answers all of the time right away. The Capricorn season that we're looking at right now, that we are wrapping up right now over the next couple of days before Aquarius season hits on like the 21st, 22nd, is we are continuing to let ourselves stew and brew and have the space to grieve properly, to rewrite our stories, and to start asking questions about how the stories that we've been writing actually feel for us. And if we want to carry those into the goals that we have and into the actual new year, which starts in the spring. So we've got time, and I want you to feel like you have that time and you don't need to rush headlong into everything. The sea goat is not always about like ramming into everything. As much as, you know, like I said, Capricorn can be a sort of like heady, headstrong sign. It is also a place where that's only used when we need it. And right now we kind of need like that middle space between, you know, the groundedness of the goat and the flexibility and the potential for like wandering and not having a path. If you think about like being in the ocean, there are no paths there. There are no like well-worn paths in the ocean. The intermediate between like the groundedness and the flexibility and the flowingness and the not having a plan of the fishtail part of the sea goat. This has been, I think, one of my quickest readings ever. But I really felt like the message is clear that whatever it is that you've been going through, it's time for you to pull back on the stories that you've been telling yourself and start to open yourself up to the universe, giving you more perspective, giving you a higher perspective. And the way that you can do that is by asking questions in a different way and telling yourself what the possible answers might be in a different way as well. If you need help with that, check out the wandering. But ultimately, I hope that you like this video if it felt like it resonated for you, and you subscribe for more so that when Aquarius season hits, you can get that card reading and you can start to experience like, oh, that's how figuring this thing out at the end of Capricorn season melded into this next phase in my life where I'm getting to figure out a whole different part of myself, and I'm starting to really see my relationships blossom. I'm starting to see a possibly sober self come out and find strength in where I'm at and the new stories that I'm telling myself, and also prepare for that a level of energy protection and self-empowerment that we need when we actually do settle on goals, so that other people aren't out here taking bites at us because they're jealous that we've got goals and they want to tear us down. It's just how human nature is sometimes. seeing other people happy and not really being happy yourself. We need this time to rewrite our stories and to feel a little bit more empowered in those stories, so that when the time comes, that empowerment that we feel will protect us from letting other people drain our energies, from the things that we know and we start to feel very certain and very clear are right for us. That level of confidence cannot be fucking beat. So don't underestimate the power of the next week as we close out Capricorn season. A lot can happen in a few days. And if you take the time right now to take a deep breath in, ask Sal, the source of abundant love, please show me the new stories that I need to write for myself, and exhale, sending that request out into the universe, into the stars. What you'll find is that in the next couple of days, you will start to feel different movements and different shifts and things. People will invite you to come see the stories that you've been speaking to yourself. The things that you will journal will start to have a totally different voice. The relationships that you were uncertain about, or that have like sort of a cadence of I should be over this by now, will start to circle back to you through methods and means that you could not have predicted or could not have asked for specifically yourself, that only Sal knows how to deliver to you, and just needed you to be there to ask, and just needed you to be ready for the receiving by asking, showing that you were ready for the receiving by asking, by taking the action of asking, to show you a different side. And things will start to fall into place. Doing my little crab hands here. Okay. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like. If you want more, please subscribe. And if you feel like this might resonate with some people in your life, or just that my energy reminds you of somebody, share this with a friend. Share this with a plebe that you love, so that we can all continue connecting and building on those layers together. Thank you for taking the time to receive the message that you got from this video. Not everybody does that for themselves, and you did do that for yourself. So good for you, and thank you. You deserve it. I love you so much. You're deserving of all the love you desire. And if you don't believe that yet, I hope that you're on your way and you admit to yourself, I want to believe that I am deserving of all the love I desire. See how that feels. Try it out. Say it out. Say it out loud. Try it. Yeah. I want to believe that I deserve all the love I desire. How does that feel? And I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah.